Okay. Okay. Did you unmute? Unmute.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Elaine. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Astound Yourself Dating Show. Oh, I'm hearing myself here on my phone. Let me
Hello,
mute that.
everyone.
There you go. Excellent. Today we have a great show for you, as we usually do. Awesome topic. Today we are going to talk about the different things you could find yourself in, different scenarios you could find yourself in as a single person trying to navigate dating relationships. And we are about to get into that. So welcome. I'm Richard Francois, your host today, and with me is my illustrious co-hostess. What is your name, illustrious co-hostess?
It's illustrious co-hostess Elaine Saunders, dynamic matchmaker. Hi, everyone.
There you go. She's got a much longer name than I do.
Yep.
If you're watching the
Wait,
show,
how do I do this? Woot, woot, woot.
if you're watching the show, remember it's a live show.
It is
Comment,
live
ask us questions.
in the
Comment,
moment.
ask us questions. We would love to interact with you and pull your comments up. If you have a question, we may even answer it in the air. Some of you are regular viewers. We love to hear from you. And if it's your first time, please let us know so we can say hi. Let us get started with the meat of the show. We have a lot to cover. So let's first, Elaine, it looks like you're probably still inviting people to watch parties, which is fine. I can keep talking. Elaine decided to have us talk about this in response to one of our viewers who posed a question. I'd like to say thank you to her. Do you remember her name, Elaine? Did you?
Marcella Nuevo or Nueva. Marcello Nueva or Marcella Nuevo. I'm not sure which. Thanks to my
We should get
dyslexia.
her name right. Let's just call her Marcella for
Come
now.
on and correct me.
Let's just call her Marcella. And we should
I think it's Marcello Nuevo.
Marcella, thank you so much for the suggestion. This show is dedicated to you, and of course, it's for everybody else who's watching. Thank you for suggesting it. We are going to go and parse the different titles in some situations people may find themselves in. And we're also going to say, let's just go and say hello to a few people who just started watching, and then we're going to jump in. Of course, we have Ruben. Ruben is a regular on our show. Ruben, thank you for watching.
Hello.
How are you doing? We have a new
Ruben.
viewer today. A new viewer. This is my friend Lisa. Lisa!
Hello, Lisa.
Oh, good to see you.
Hello,
Thank you
Lisa.
for the show. Share it with your friends. Let's get into it, Elaine. Let's
Okay.
put up the first thing, the first topic,
right.
the first thing. Mutual monogamy. Ooh.
This is the easy peasy one. This is very traditional. This is the one that people assume. I always like that word assume. Because that's when we get into trouble, when you assume stuff, right?
Right.
So this is where two people enter into a relationship and they agree not to share intimacy with other partners. It's an exclusive relationship. It could be in a marital relationship, in a marriage, or a long-term relationship, or even a dating relationship. You could date somebody and say, hey, we're going to date exclusively. Even if we're not sure where the future lies, we just want to keep it monogamous, exclusively monogamous, mutually. Both partners agree.
Mutually monogamous, which is the status quo for relationships, at least in this part of the world. I don't know if there are other places where mutually not monogamous is the norm. I imagine there are. But at least where we are now, here in the States and in the Western world, the assumption is mutually exactly, Ruben. Ruben just said,
Yes,
when you assume,
that's
they
big
can
problemo.
ask you and me. That's such an old joke. I remember that joke from when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ruben, for the flashback.
Yeah,
That is mutual monogamy, and
that's
often it's assumed. It's not even discussed. People assume, well, because we're dating or because we did something, whether it be you met my parents or we had sex, that means that all of a sudden we're mutually monogamous. It's best to always have clarity, whether you're mutually monogamous or any of the other things we're going to be discussing, that you have a conversation and know what is actually going on so that your
Correct.
expectations are clear, their expectations are clear. Let's go to the next one.
The next one is cereal. And I'm not talking about like Captain Crunch.
Frosted
or
Flakes.
Fruit
Frosted Flakes is better.
Yeah,
They're
not that kind of
great.
cereal. I'm talking about consecutive cereal. Here's one monogamous relationship onto the next monogamous relationship. Does that make sense?
Yes, this reminds me of an episode of this show I used to watch, How I Met Your Mother with Neil Patrick
Yes.
Harris.
Oh, I love that show.
One of the shows was about one of the characters on there, Ted. Ted, he's like the ultra nice guy in that show.
So cute. Yeah, I loved him.
There's an episode where Ted talks about trying to get into a relationship with this woman, and she was never single. It was the moment she became single, within a day, within hours, she was in another relationship.
That's right.
Was fun and games and kicks and giggles, but this is an exaggerated version of the serial monogamist. That's the person who cannot be alone. They don't know who they are if they are not in a relationship. They need to be attached to somebody. They don't like their own company. It might sound enviable on the surface. Like, oh, this person always finds people. It's so easy for them to find people. But if you were to look on the surface, you might find other things like some insecurities that make it impossible for them to be alone. They'd rather be with somebody who treats them poorly, maybe, than then be alone for a while. They don't like their own company, whatever it might be. But a serial monogamous, somebody who just can't be alone, is not a great place to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, somebody made the analogy like the Tarzan type person who goes from one vine to the next and then lets go, and then goes to the next vine and lets go. That's why I'm swinged from one, not swing, but like kind of grasp, and they let go, and then they find the next person. There's no break in between.
Yeah, this is somebody who's always got a person lurking in the background.
But it's one person. They don't juggle two at a time. It's always that one.
Even if they're not kissing two people, it's somebody they're kissing and doing everything with. And then somebody else who's just their confidant, their shoulder to cry on. Maybe they hug a little bit too long. Just they're lining up the next person to take that place and fill that void.
Right. Never happened. Yeah, makes sense.
Let's go to the next one.
Serial dater. This is kind of the same thing, isn't it? Kind of, but not really talking about the sexy time.
Well, the dater doesn't actually get into a relationship.
Okay.
All they're ever doing is going on dates. Just usually somebody who's just a serial dater dates a lot, but has never really been in a relationship, probably has some difficulty with intimacy. And I don't mean sex, I mean intimacy, being open with someone.
Right?
That's right. That's why
that was last week's show.
That's right, it was. Go back and watch last week's show if you missed
watch the replay.
Check out the replay. So intimacy is it's not sex. It's not the same thing. People often will use one word instead of the other. Intimacy is about somebody knowing you for who you are, for who you're not, being fully visible in all your glory, in all your shortcomings. And somebody who is always just dating, but never really actually has one person in a relationship, that's a serial dater. That's their MO. And once any little thing goes, quote, wrong, they're gone. Move on to the next person.
Yep, absolutely. Like the Roadrunner.
So that's the serial. That's the serial
data. Yeah. Oh, one of my favorites.
One of your favorites, Elaine. Do tell. Tell everybody why this is your favorite. Not of the cat out of the bag. Meow.
I just, who doesn't, friends with benefits? What's the point of having a friend if there's no? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, friends with benefits. It's a friend that you are physically intimate with. There's a sexual facet to the relationship, but not a romantic one. It's strictly sexual and platonic, kind of tied into one.
Sexual and platonic tied into one. That sounds like a contradiction almost, but I kind of get what you're saying.
Yeah. No. There's no
strings attached.
There's no expectation. No. Yeah. Well, I think there is a string with friends with benefits, because no strings is a little bit down the line. With a friendship, there is you have to honor and respect the friendship. And respect. There's some respect and honor that comes with the friendship, to the extent that, you're going to treat them with a certain amount of respect and care. Like, there's some caring going on. It's not romantic caring, but there's some heartfelt concern for the other person in general. It's not like somebody you just met.
I think
it's not a hookup.
I think I get the distinction. So friends with benefits means that you make them breakfast after sex, but a relationship is bring the breakfast to bed.
Yeah, you can watch a movie together or something to that effect, but you're not going to plan a wedding. That's not going to happen.
You can't plan someone else's wedding?
Your wedding with each other.
Ah, okay.
You're a smart ass, you.
I am. Mr. Smartass to you.
You're the mischievous gentleman.
We're live. All right, so that's Friends with Benefits, explained by Elaine Saunders, the matchmaker nonetheless. Let's see what else we've got. What other types of encounters? Ooh, I want to take this one. Polyamory / polygamy. First, they're not the same thing. Let's be clear. They're not the same thing.
Okay, so there's an
A
and B.
Does show up in both of them, and poly is I think poly is Greek for many. That's the etymology of that word. And amory is the word is love. That's what that means. So polyamory actually translates to many loves, and a polyamorous person is somebody who believes and practices the notion that you can love and be in love with more than one person at any given time.
Right.
And it's not just about the sex for them, although there's usually sex involved as well. But it's really about finding and creating a long-term loving partnership with more than one person. Sometimes those people know each other. Sometimes they even share the same roof, pay the bills together. And sometimes those people don't. And there is what's called the primary partner, which is, and that's arranged between the people. What the primary is, it could be the person they see the most often. It could be the person with whom they share the most of their life. Maybe they live with that primary partner, and then there are secondary or many secondary partners from there. And that's a quick description of what polyamory is. Now, some people will say polyamory, but what they really mean is, I just want to fool around with as many people as possible. That's very different. That's just you fooling around with as many people as possible. I don't have any moral judgments about that. I believe that that's part of human development. Everybody who wants to should give themselves the freedom to explore that and enjoy that. Give that much sexual attention, receive that kind of sexual attention, have it be part of your personal growth. Doesn't mean you're polyamorous just because you like to fool around. It just means you like to fool around. Polyamory is really about having a deep emotional connection with multiple people, and that might also include lots of great sex. Polygamy is specifically a man being married to multiple women. I don't know why I'd want to ever do that in this country. Oh my gosh, I just said that out loud. I sure did. Yes. Polygamy is is when a man has multiple wives. That's specifically what that is. The opposite of that is called polyandry, when a woman has multiple husbands. There are cultures in which that happens. So polygamy, there are. I'm serious. But polygamy is just it's a man with multiple women. He has multiple children with the different women. They might be living under the same roof. That's polygamy. Very different from polyamory. Polyamorous relationship could turn into polygamy, but it might not. Polygamy specifically means that the women are with just the one guy. They're not with anybody else. So it's like the arrows go in one direction. It's the guy, multiple wives.
That doesn't sound fair.
Well, some women need to take a break. I heard this joke one time. Let me see if I can repeat the joke. The comedian was saying that he wanted to have a threesome, and actually somebody said to the comedian, "I broke up with this guy because he wanted to have a threesome," and the comedian said, "Well, I don't think you get the threesome why he wanted it. You might be thinking that he wanted a threesome for his enjoyment, to just have two women. Ha ha, this is awesome. But maybe he's thinking, wouldn't it be nice for her to have someone to talk to when we're done having sex?"
It's true.
So, who knows, Elaine? Maybe polygamy is not all bad. Maybe maybe a polygamous woman is important, to talk to after she has sex with a polygamous.
She doesn't go to sleep right away. She wants more than just a snuggle.
So
wait. There's more. But wait, on the subject. Yes, more. Lisa wrote, and it's something that falls under this category, a term that she's running into with online dating is this term ethically non-monogamous, or they call it ENM for short. And I noticed that recently too. And I was like, what, ENM? I had to Google it. I'm like, what the hell is ENM,
It sounds like something you get in the back of CVS.
Yeah, like SPD, ENM, OMG, LOL.
So what do you think of ethically non-monogamous? Do you want to take a crack at what that is? Or do you know what that is now that you've looked it up?
Well, that falls into polyamorous, so to speak. It's that when a couple agrees that they're going to be non-monogamous, but they're open about it. And this is something I always had a problem with when I was younger, dating somebody, and you catch them kind of fooling around or doing things they're telling you they're not doing. And I was always kind of like, well, why can't you just tell me? Why do you have to be so dishonest about it? If you're going to fool around, like, own it. Why can't you own who you are? It's going to make me not like you and not trust you. So now this new thing, ethically non-monogamous. So you go into it saying, hey man, if I'm not around and you can't get a hold of me on the phone, maybe I am with another dude. I'm not going to lie about it. I don't see your ring on
48 hours before calling the cops.
I'm not saying that's me, but there is a certain thing to that. I think there's some benefit to that. You don't have to worry, or people are so anxious. Is this person just checking into the other person's cell phone? Are they lying to me? Where is he really? Where is she really? Who's she talking to? Well, if it's out in the open, I mean, it sucks to be lied to and told that you're something you're not. I numerous times I've walked out of things because people were telling me they were something they weren't, which was faithful.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have stayed if they were ethically non-monogamous and were open about their lack of faithfulness, but at least I would have given it maybe a thought. I would have had a reason to think maybe, okay, you're going to do that. I'm going to go do this. But I'm sure he couldn't have stood or his head would have exploded if I did this while he was doing that. So of course he wasn't going to be honest about it. Right.
So I think the main point is here. I heard this old adage before that the good thing about telling the truth is you don't have to have a good memory. And when you're ethically non-monogamous, the truth is always the truth. You have to remember, what did I say over here and who did I say it to? Because
Right.
whatever you say, it's always going to be the truth if what you said was the truth. So it's like, hey, I was on a date. Oh, okay, you were on a date. Great. But it's
Right.
ethically monogamous. And what makes it ethical is that everybody involved has agreed to it. Look,
Correct.
just because you tell your girlfriend, hey, I'm seeing two other women, doesn't mean it's ethical if she's not cool with it. Telling your boyfriend that, hey, I'm gonna run off this weekend on this guy's yacht. I'm being cliche here, this guy's yacht, right? It's just if you say that, just because you informed him doesn't mean that it's ethical if he's not down with it.
Correct.
Ethical means that it's within everybody's agreement. You've spoken about it.
Right.
This
Comfort
is next
zone.
level. You've spoken about it, and you're cool with what is happening.
Right.
That's ethical,
And
not
so the word polyamory and ethical non-monogamy, when I tell you, maybe 2 years ago, I mean, I never even heard these words up until like maybe 2 years ago. And now I laugh because here we are in COVID. And honestly, you have to be out of your freaking mind if you're going to be ethically non-monogamous and just go about your business in the middle of a pandemic. I don't care if you're ethical, non-ethical, I mean, I'm almost kind of snickering a little bit, kind of glad. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, people really, there is something to, I'm a monogamy girl. I like love, faithfulness, loyalty, trust. I would sign up for that if I could find somebody who would sign up for it too. Right. So it's interesting. It's really interesting. But I think
Hello,
it's
Tammy.
hey, Tammy. But I think this pandemic is going to browbeat some people back into that.
It might. There are a lot of people who are very, very concerned and cautious now because of the pandemic.
And as well they should
We did
be.
an episode about what we thought were the good things and the not so good things that the pandemic brought to light with dating. So
Hey, to each his own. Right?
go back and take a look for it. This is the next one. Casual NSA, which is no strings attached.
Right.
No strings attached. It's not quite the same thing as the ethical non-monogamous. No strings attached is just that it's somebody who is looking just for the physical. Usually, they're just looking to have fun, to enjoy sex with one partner. Maybe it's multiple different partners, and they are being upfront about that. That's the thing here. We're not here to say that any of these are right or wrong. Although I have
no judgment
about some of them. Elaine has her preferences about some of them. Tammy has her preferences about them. Tammy's like, no way, dude. No.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's different. And the point is that you're being upfront about what to expect.
Exactly.
So you can see that on somebody's dating profile. They say NSA. They're probably not saying they work for a secretive government organization that knows your Google password. They're probably saying they're looking for something with no strings attached.
And that's
there's a time for that. It might be a time when maybe you're working a lot and you've got you're going to school full time. The pandemic's got your head exploding, but you find yourself itching for some warmth next to you every once in a while. And NSA may be the thing for you if you know that you don't have the energy or the mental capacity to dedicate to a full-on relationship right now. But you still like to have a pair of warm lips nibbling on your ear at 2:30 in the morning. I'm a 2:35 kind of guy, but it's 2:30 is your thing, whatever. So true. NSA could be the thing for you. The point is, whatever you're doing, be clear about it. Be upfront about it. Don't have somebody think you're up to one thing when you know you're up to something else.
Right, misleading them, taking them down the garden path, so to speak.
Yeah, we're not here about misleading. I don't think anybody needs any additional coaching on how to be misleading. That seems to come without any effort for the world at large. Let's just say. We have somebody commenting here. Oh, Marcella.
Oh, this is the woman. Hi, Marcella.
Hello, Marcella. This show is for you. Let's see what Marcella does.
Watch the whole show.
Marcella says, "What about an exclusive lover? let me just see this. An exclusive lover allowing the other to date, flirt, and live their life, but spend time and only have sex with each other.
Okay.
Interesting. I think I've heard of this one. So this one is
that's the weird.
what's called monogamish. Monogamish. So there's no actual sexual activity with anybody else. Maybe there's some flirting with the other person, but that's the line. Hi, Marcella. That's where the line is drawn, and all the sexual tension gets to be enjoyed and released with some other partner.
Right.
If you can pull that off, hats off to you. I think this is a slippery slope. It's like, what's an analogy I could use for this thing here? That's like saying, hey, I'm an alcoholic. I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I just love the smell of it. So I go to the bar and I sit around for 2 hours and just take in the smell. Yeah, maybe you can do that, but to what end? You're playing with fire. You're teasing yourself. You're playing with fire. You're getting yourself all worked up and excited, and that excitement needs to be expressed somehow. And I'm not sure that saying that you're monogamous but doing activities that are not actually fully in line with monogamy is a good idea. Like purposely going in any place where you're like flirting with somebody and giving them back rubs, but you know that's it. The shirt's never coming off.
Richard.
Yes.
The thing we were talking about it before the show. The situationship or the weird zone.
Uh-huh.
That would be the weird zone.
Or
situationship. It's not mainstream relationship. It's something that is not usual or typical. There's no rules with that. You make up this is the thing. You meet somebody and you make up your own rules and it doesn't fall into a category. That's what she described. There's no label for it. It's a thing that you have, because there's no two people that are alike. And I always said you have to do what's good for you. You just said that it could cause problems. Why do that? But why not if it's good for them, if they're happy with it? It may not last forever. It may only be good for now. Maybe it'll get them through the pandemic. I'm not even kidding. This is tough times. Who doesn't want a pandemic pal? Raise your hand.
Pandemic pal. Are you adding to the list? A pandemic pal. Let's add that one to the list quick. Pandemic pal, everybody.
Don't you think there's some merit in that? I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
It's not easy, Richard.
That's a good one.
A pandemic pal.
Well, let's go with Hugh because we have a little time left. I see we have a new comment.
Susan had something.
Hi, Susan. Thank you for watching the show. I don't think we've seen you before, so welcome. Susan says this: I've dated someone casually for 4 years. We've expressed our feelings towards each other, but I just can't get him to let his guard down and commit. So frustrating. Oh, wow. Wow, Susan. That can be very frustrating. And this is not something that we can just analyze here. I mean, of course, there's so many things that could be underneath that. We don't know what's going on with him that's keeping him from wanting to what's keeping him from what's keeping him from being able to fully open up. I appreciate you bringing that up here, Susan. And if you'd like, send us a private message and we can talk further about that. We can talk further. You can talk to me, talk to Elaine. We have also a network of relationship experts that we can connect you with if you want to explore that. I also have a lot of books that I've read and listened to on the topic. That may be a good place to start. But listen, there's no perfect relationship or person that you get along with 100% immediately. You've stuck around with this guy for 4 years. And you'd like him to commit. So that means there are things about him you really enjoy. If you've stuck around for 4 years and you want to have him all to yourself. And it might just mean that there are some things to work on together and as well separately to help bring you closer.
Right.
So thank you for sharing that, Susan.
Yeah.
Reach out to us if you'd like. If you'd like to explore this deeper, you can just send a private message. We're going to talk very soon about how to reach out to us directly besides a private message to the page. Thanks for watching. And let's say hello to Stephanie real quick. Stephanie is a good friend of both of ours. Stephanie, what is up? Yes, so Stephanie is down with the pandemic pal. Look what you've started, Elaine. Now you've got everybody talking about pandemic pal.
It's a thing. It could be a thing.
Nobody cares about Pennsylvania or Nevada anymore. It's all pandemic pals. That's the new thing.
Yes, and I think we should help people find them. What do you think, Richard?
I know a lady who specializes in that, and this might be her new niche category, pandemic pals. Do you know who I'm talking about, Elaine?
Let's have a Zoom event for just such an occasion for people to meet.
Pandemic pals Zoom event. Stick around for that. Excellent. Well, we have eaten through our time. Thank you everybody who joined us today. And anything, thanks everybody who joined us. If you're just joining us now and you missed the beginning of the show, that's cool. Go back and watch it. Have a few laughs, make some comments. We'll respond to your comments whether or not they were live. We are here every Thursday at 7:30 Eastern for your entertainment and your education. We hope you enjoyed this show. My name is Richard Francois. I am your dating strategist, and you can find me here at Astound Yourself Dating, or you can go to grichard360.com. Find me there. I've got online a lot of offerings that I can offer you. We've got the dating challenge, which is 8 weeks long, or we can have one-on-one private coaching as well. That's me. And now to Elaine. Elaine, tell people where to find you and your awesome services.
So I'm on Facebook. Just go to Dynamic Introductions on Facebook. There is a book now button. You could just click on it and set up a time for us to chat. There's no charge to talk. Kind of talk about what you're doing and what you might like to do. And I could refer you to somebody if I can't help you. Maybe I know somebody who does. I do have a website, a meetup group, which we are going to look at some virtual events soon on Zoom. Maybe we can help you find a pandemic pal. You never know.
Pandemic pal. I think it's going to catch on like wildfire. Pandemic pal. Well, that is it for us for this week, everybody. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for your comments, your questions. We will see you next week for another episode of the Astound Yourself Dating Show. Have a good night.
Bye.